Atochin chitab Kalenjin eng ketesiet noton nechome nebo Kass TV kakituiye tuan logoiwekab emet cheitun chekakisibi en betutab raini betut noton nebo kwoeng kasi. Ibwat ile eng kila betutab kwoeng kasi kemi studio sekusingong akobo bandaptai mising ko bolotet en emet. Akot kou noton ingetau logoiwekab emet chekisibi en betutab raini en oret nebo kaborunet ketindoi Naomi Cherotich, kainenyin ko Shadrack Mutai Itagat. Kakokimit President William Ruto mwaet kole tindoi kayanet nebo kole wendi koityin emetab Kenya magutikyik chebo bandaptai agoi koityin ak emotinwek alak chemiten First World. Kotinygei ak Ruto nong'ololi en State Nairobi ko magat en chi agetugul nebo emetab Kenya koyai kebebertanyin en kanabtaetab uchumi ak bandaptai nebo emet asikeityi borotet neo.
So if any one of you had any doubt in the possibilities that this country can make, please start believing in your country. Start believing in your country. And as we engage in this process, because it's going to be a robust process, it's not going to end in weeks or months, maybe it'll take us a year or so, we must have a robust conversation as a country on what the future of Kenya is. This is not about the next election. This is about the future of Kenya. Yeah, the future of Kenya. The next election will come and go, but we must focus, because whoever wins or loses the next election will be here. Nobody's going to leave the country. So we're going to be here, and the future of Kenya will matter to everybody, those who win and those who lose. Yeah? And so it is very important that we think about the future of our country. And finally, as we focus about that future, I have said we must believe in ourselves, we must believe in our country, and we must be patriotic. And as been said here, integrity must be the benchmark of our engagements. We must be honest, brutally honest with ourselves. I will give you an example. We are a country that believes we're a robustly democratic country. When I went to the G7, among the issues that was in conversation was artificial intelligence and how it's going to power the future, and how social media is it continues to affect society positively and negatively. And Kenya, for your information, is number one in the whole world in the use of social media. It is said that every Kenyan, or on average, Kenyans spend 4 hours and a few minutes every day you know? And all the stuff in there, you know what is in that social media story, you know? But even with all that, we are still surging forward. We're still moving forward.
Who will obey traffic lights even at night? Those are not Kenyans now. But those are the people that we need to become. People who will do the right thing, because in disorder, you lose so much. And you encourage people to take, quick, shortcuts. And before long, we have just fractured into a lot of disorder. So I think it's really important to build a culture of integrity and a culture of order.
How do we attract tourists when we don't have a five-star hotel? Those symbols, let's start with those simple things. We need to check as per how do we attract both direct and indirect investments in this country. We have facilities.
Looking at the statistics of the fastest developing countries in the world, it is possible to fulfill the mission of bringing Kenya forward from where we are into an industrialized modern country within one generation. It's been done before and it can be done.
Koimonge chongindab biikab emet koboto stakeholders terterchin en county nebo Uasin Gishu kasarta nebo ibetab kerutikab biikab emet kobun arorut komiten en bilit noton nebo PPP Amendment Bill 2026 ak draft regulations chebo National Treasury Forum ultesetai tetutiet noton kokeib keretab biikab emet komait keib kwa bunge asikeng'alen komait kisirto koik ng'atutiet.
Kongololi eng sukulitab muswoknotet noton nebo Eldoret National Polytechnic kasarta noton nekatochi kerutikab biikab emet eng Public Private Partnership Amendment Bill noton nebo kenyitab 2026 ak PPP General and Project Management Regulations nebo 2026 komwa National Treasury PPP Director General Engineer Kass kole toche kerutichotok amait koib bunge draft notok keyachi walutik.
To talk to the citizen, enlighten them on the proposed amendments to our PPP laws. But just to take us back, we are a country who have an aspiration, and aspiration is to develop our country. And one of the catalysts is to develop our infrastructure as a nation. We all know where we are at with our fiscal space or our budget, and that's why we are looking at PPP as an alternative mechanism to deliver our infrastructure. But as part of our delivery, we've experienced challenges or some areas where we've got ambiguity with the pieces of legislation that support the implementation of PPP. And as a directorate, the technical arm, we've come with proposed amendments to the pieces of legislation that we have. There are three in number. We have the PPP Act itself, then we have the general regulation, and then we have the general regulation that speaks to project management. As we all know, we had the PPP Act of 2013, which has been implemented for over now 10 years. It was amended in 2021 just to bring clarity and create some timelines for purposes of investors. But at the same time, we've experienced challenges or inconsistencies in its implementation. And that's why we have proposed some amendments to it to help us in efficient delivery of our projects. That's why we are here today in Eldoret City to walk through the members of the public on the proposed amendments, hear their views, and see what will be incorporated at the end of the day.
Kamwa engineer Seda kole tokchingei walutichotok kekanapta yaetab boisionik, kanyumnyumetab oret noton nebo nyorunetab logoiwek chotok chebo kamanut ak boroindo nemie eng investors kosuldae boisionikwak.
So we are calling upon the public to turn out in large numbers, give us their views, and share what they think should be on these particular pieces of legislation. We've also had engagement with investors, and all that they want is assurance that the government will do the needful and assure them in getting returns once they invest in our infrastructure projects.
Katas komwa director inoto kole tesetai ibetab kerutikab biikab emet eng kebeberwek cheboto Nyanza, Western ak Coast amait kotokchigei Kitui, Kajiado ak Nairobi kotomo keib keng'alale draft inotok eng bunge noto nebo National Assembly.
And we have a blend of audience from persons living with disabilities to business persons, also to persons representing different government institutions. And I do believe through the Gazette notice which was issued on the 7th of July, we've managed to attract all cadres of persons living within the public to give their views, because this is not going to be the first and the end. As I did mention, we've traversed greater parts of the country. Next week we'll be culminating with a final public participation in Nairobi. So for those who might have not had an opportunity to attend some of this, they may come to Nairobi. If not, submit written memorandums through our website or through our email address, which we've been providing in many of the forums that we are attending, so that all the views of Kenyans can be onboarded as part of our amendment process.
Kong'etika taonitab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Kakokoito kurset serikalitab emetab Kenya koit serikalisekab emotinwekab sang kotoret emoni en toretet nemokyingei icheket kotinygei ak chong'indo nebo biik kobun emetab Sudan chemiten en kambisiek en emoni chekimwechi emetab Kenya kotinygei ak ng'emetab kalyet nekiborenji en emonoton nebo Sudan.
Kenya calls for increased international humanitarian support to frontline states hosting Sudanese refugees in order to prevent further regional spillover and instability. Fifth is that accountability and justice must underpin any sustainable peace. Peace without justice is inherently fragile. A new Sudan cannot be built on the foundations of impunity. Those responsible for violations of international law must be held accountable. At the same time, mechanisms for truth-seeking reconciliation and national healing must be pursued to rebuild trust, restore social cohesion, and lay the foundation for durable peace. Kenya, therefore, remains ready to provide diplomatic space and good offices, facilitate dialogue, support humanitarian efforts, and work closely with IGAD, the African Union, the United Nations, the Quintet, and all partners committed to a peaceful resolution of this conflict. Therefore, let this forum send a clear and united message. The guns must fall silent, humanitarian suffering must end, Sudan's unity and sovereignty must be preserved.
Mache kibagengeit noton nebo konyoik nebo Kenya Union of Clinical Officers Ministry nebo konyoiset koboto noton nebo Council of Governors kokonyit magutikab CBA chekiityin en tai ak konyoik choton. Kamwa kole engandan kikiyonjin en kenyit nekosirtoi ko nguni kotomo kisuldaen noton.
Kachut betutab aeng eng betutab rani kangelindetab boisiet nebo kanyoik chenaat ko clinical officers chemiten kibagengetab Kenya Union of Clinical Officers eng county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet komache kibagengetab Council of Governors koboto ministry nebo kanyoiset nebo emoni kosuldaen magutik cheterter chekiityi ak kanyoik choto. Kang'ong nebo ngecheret eng kibagengetab Kuko eng county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet Martin Logalis kole kangelinoto bo boisiet komi eng kibagenge ak kanyoik alak chebo counties 47 chebo emoni cheisuldae kora kangelinoto bo boisiet.
Union of Clinical Officers head office directed that they gave the government 21 days strike notice to implement our return to work agreement, which he has told. You remember that it is not the wish of clinical officers to be on strike. I want to state that it is the government. Both levels of government have gone on strike. They are striking on their own because they fail to honor the return to work agreement, which the national officers had been negotiating all through.
Magut choto machi kanyoik choto ko siretab konyoik chemite eng oretab contracts akoi permanent and pensionable, lipanetab konyoik chemite UHC ak kasuldaetab collective bargaining agreement.
Regrettably, to the people of Kenya and Elgeyo Marakwet to be specific, that it was not our intention to strike, but we have been pushed to the wall by both levels of government by refusing to agree to our irreducible demands of what I had earlier alluded of absorbing the eligible UHC and Global Fund staff, immediate payment of outstanding service gratuity lawfully due to the eligible UHC and Global Fund staff. Almost the Global Fund staff, they have been working for over six years without being given that gratuity. And another demand which most of the counties have effected is immediate placement of clinical officers to the correct entry job group.
Kosubkei ak kangelinoto bo boisiet ko karirtae meng'ikab county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet tetutikab konyoiset chekamwa kole mitei ng'weny mising eng keteshosiek cheterter chebo konyoiset eng county noto.
Tangu asubuhi nimekuwa na mgonjwa alikuwa anahudumiwa hapa hospitali ya Ikweny, lakini nimefika kidogo services ilikuwa chini due to the national strike for all doctors, clinical doctors. So nilikuwa naomba the relevant authorities akiongozwa na president, CS in charge of health and governor to intervene on that, kwa sababu naona hapa ground raia ndio wanaumia at the end of the day.
Ni disturbing because ni the main nini yenye inasaidia watu especially hapa Iten where I'm commanding from. Tunaomba serikali waongee na madaktari wetu so that warudi kazi.
En komostanyi kokomwa medical superintendent nebo sipitalitab boror nebo Iten County Referral Hospital Lawrence Kogo kole tieme kandoinatetab county noto koityi ng'alalet ak kanyoichoto asikenyor koshinet kotinygei ak kaimutiet noto.
Management ya hospitali tumeweza kufanya mikakati zingine, kutumia madaktari, kuchukua watu temporary kidogo ili tuweze kuendelea na services zetu kwa hospitali.
Kongete county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Andrew Kimeto.
Kanam obseek choton chebo ribetab kalyet en taonit noton nebo Nakuru mising komosta nebo Kiamunyi kerichek chekibwote kichoben mayek choton chebo ethanol chemwaat kele kakinyor komiten kot agenge en komosato bo Kiamunyi. En operation noton kai police kokanam kora tuguk alak chemoyonotin cheboto risasinik, pastolet agenge ak kenam chito agenge nemwaat kele nanyinet kowoton kakinyorta tuguchoton.
Kanam ofisaek chebo police en Nakuru litaishek chesire 990 chebo ethanol chekiboisien en chobet nebo mayek chemoyonotin. En operation inoton kakiyai en komosta nebo Kiamunyi kokakinam kora risasinik 22 cheboto pastolet agenge ak stickers chebo KRA en kwenutab tuguk alak chemoyonotin.
From our officers that there is a house in Kiamunyi which is a cottage. When we say cottage, it's a house that is not for anybody cannot go in. We recover 30 liters packed in 33-liter packed in black, suspected to be ethanol, which comes to 990 liters. Assorted packing bottles of 250 mils empty. We have also stickers of the following brands. One is a Best Gene sticker, photo stickers, magic stickers. Also we have a roll of KRA sticker, which we suspected that the suspect is using to deceive the lovers of this particular drink.
Kora kokakinam chito nebo koyoton kakinyorchi tuguchoton ole tesetai kotoreti police en chikilisiet. Kosubkei ak ofisayat neo nebo police en sub-county nebo Rongai Daniel Birech ko kanyor logoiwek kobun biikab emet kotinygei ak chichoton kakibwotyin kele isuldoen mung'aret ak boisionik chemoiyonotin.
One suspect by the name Geoffrey Mureithi Kerinya, the owner of the house, and we highly suspect is the owner of these assorted items that we have netted. And we have arrested. We'll take to court as soon as possible. And for now, he's assisting the police officers to get more information about these uncustom goods and this magazine for pistol.
Kayomis Birech kole isuldoen police chikilisiet en oret netogu ako wendi koipchin kakwautik chekimen biik chetinyegei ak yauti choton. Kong'eten county nebo Nakuru, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyun ko Sylvester Rono.
Kakomwa minister nebo kibagengeisiek anan cooperatives en emoni Wycliffe Oparanya kole tesetai serikali ak chobetab tetutik cheterterchin chemuktechin kotestai konyornen kelchin kabotik kolset noton nebo kawek.
Kongololi eng taonitab Eldoret komasta nebo Ainabkoi komwa CS nebo Cooperatives Wycliffe Mbetsa Oparanya kole nekit koborok chobetab bilit noton newendi kokimiti telelchinetab cooperatives akotes kole kokonde serikalitab emoni rabinik chechang eng sekta inotok bo kamanut.
I'm happy that you are here and I'm told you have 4 counties here. We have had 4 counties in Kakamega. Tomorrow we are in Kisumu and Nakuru. The following day we are in Nyeri and Embu. And then the last day we are in Machakos. We will have launched all these counties. But your responsibilities are well marked out. Through the cassette notice of October, if you look at that particular cassette notice, it is clearly spelled out what you are supposed to do. But we are not just doing this for fun. When I took over the ministry, the president announced himself that while coffee is very important for the economy of this country, it has not been given proper emphasis. And then he directed that he will want to see coffee production increased from 50,000 metric tons to 150 metric tons by 2029-2030. This was a pronouncement, trebling the output.
Kongang Oparanya alak eng kaimutik chotok chekikowekta let kabatisyetab kahawek eng emoni ole some kabatik koboisie oretab kibagengeisiek anan cooperatives asikomuktochi kasuldaetab sekta inotok eng nyumnyumindo.
As a ministry we had to look out and see what has been the problem. Kenya used to be the leading producer, second to Ethiopia. Now we are number 5. What happened in between? One of the critical issues that happened that affected coffee production in this country was management of cooperatives. Because coffee is produced through cooperatives. And because cooperatives were not well managed, that is what created a problem, number 1. Number 2, the government had not done any investment in this sector. It had left it to the farmers themselves to take care of themselves. In the process with mismanagement, some farmers abandoned growing of coffee, and that's why production came down. So the government had to come with intervention to address those major issues plus others.
Kamite Oparanya koboto MP nebo Ikolomani ne inendet kora ko nebo ng'echeret eng bunge noto nebo Trade ak Cooperatives Bernard Shinyali koboto Njeru Nduga ak CEC noto nebo Cooperatives eng county nebo Uasin Gishu Dr. Philip Sil Chebunet chesome kabotik kokilchigei kolsetab kahawek.
Good people, this committee is going to change the welfare, the economic activities of our people if we are serious with the coffee farming. His Excellency himself, you can see the commitment he has given to us. As Parliament, as a committee on trade cooperatives and committee, we are committed. We are going to support the ministry and the executive to make sure that we achieve our goals in coffee growing.
Katuye icheket eng tuiyetab stakeholders chotok chebo kahawek kobun Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Elgeyo Marakwet ak West Pokot. Kong'eteke taonitab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu ko Isaac Kogei.
Katestai kobarait mung'arenyin kampunit noton nebo mwanik nebo Starbex ole kamwa Duncan Murray ne ine ko marketing manager nebo kampunit noton bo Starbex kole tesetai icheket koboroi mung'aret ko oret agenge nebo kuchang'ab customers ak missing kora komuch kosir chong'indab neranik en boisiet.
Kamwa ofisayat netononchin aldaisiet en kamuritab Starbucks netinyegei ak aldaetab mwanik ak tuguk alak Duncan Murray kole makenywan ko koker kole kaibarait barainwekab boisionik en kwenutab neranik nekamwa ine kole chongindab neranik chekokowong somanet komatinye boisionik.
Kusema hata kule Bomet tukifanya interviews muweze kuleta hizo applications za watoto kama hawa ili tuweze kucreate ajira kwa majenzi. Si hao wote ni jenzi? Si ni kweli? So kazi yetu kama Starbucks ni kuensure kuwa tukienda mahali fulani tunaenda tuna create ajira kwa wanafunzi ambao wamemaliza tu shule ambao wanaendelea na shule. Tukikuja mahali kama hapa Mogogosiek ni kuandika na kuajiri watoto wa hapa. Na ningependa niwaite wote hapa mbele waseme tu majina yao ndio mjue kuwa hatuwezi kuja hapa na tutoe watu kutoka nje. Kazi yetu ni kutafuta ajira kwa wale watoto wa upande.
Kamwa Murray kole boisiet nebo maat netilil anan green energy kobo kamanut en ribsetab itondab emet ak missing kotoreti en kirindaetab mionwogik cheimuch koib boisietab kwenik cheibu iyet.
Na pia kwa wenyeji ambao wamekuwa hapa, tuko na gas ya Starbucks. Tunazidi kuomba muendelee kutumia gas tuweze kubadilisha maisha ya kina mama kule nyumbani. Tunataka kuachilia maneno ya kutumia jiko, maneno ya kutumia kuni, ndio tuweze kufanya nini? Kutumia gas. Gas is healthy and we want to ensure that our women, our mothers back at home are able to use gas, which is clean and it is green energy. Tumebadilisha hiyo yote hata kwa mashule, tunabadilisha mashule kule, tunaensure mashule pia wanabadilisha kutumia kuni, waweze kufanya nini? Kutumia gas kupika. So hiyo pia wanafunzi akienda shule, mtu akiwa kule jikoni, wafanyikazi wa jikoni hawezi kuwa na maneno ya kifua, kuumwa na macho, aweze kufanya yote. So kama kampuni tunaendelea kusisitiza that tukisonga mbele pale, ukitumia lubricant, ukitumia mafuta, ukitumia gesi, ndio hapa Starbucks utapata.
Kangololi ine Mogogosiek en kandoin nikangoyote ketesiet nekialdoe mwanik nebo Starbucks mornet noton nebo Mogogosiek.
Leo nina furaha sana kufika hapa Mogogosiek. Kama vile nimesema, hii ni station yetu ya 3 hapa kaunti ya Bomet. Lakini kwa South Rift mzima tunaweza sema tumekubalika kama brand. Tuko na station pale Kapsait, tuko na station Retain, tuko na station Silibwet, tuko na station Mlot, tutafungua sasa station hapa Mogogosiek, alafu wiki ijayo tutakuwa tunafungua station pale Bomet.
Kongeten county nebo Bomet, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass TV, kainenyun ko Festus Rono.
Kakecher rwoik en emoni missing ko choton bunu county nebo Nandi koistoegei icheket boisiet nebo kerichek choton chemuch koyai icheket korwai missing anan doping kabiniton en kasarta nekaboiboenji tetikab labatet noton nebo Kapsabetab Marathon Edition nebo 3 walutik chemiachen chebo chikiletab rwoik 487.
Kong'alaldos eng uwanjetab ureriosiek nebo Eliud Kipchoge nemite taonitab Kapsabet eng kasarta nekakikachin konunotoik kabelik chebo urerietab Kapsabetab Marathon Edition nebo 3, komwa amdoindet nebo kanisetab Sitam eng Kapsabet Akireyo Mukanga koboto ng'alalet alak kole nyolu eng rwoik koistoegei boisietab kerichek chetese kimnatet.
Ukikosea nidhamu uwanja yenye uko ndani, hiyo uwanja haitawahi kukureward in any way.
All 487 athletes who participated in the last edition, all of them were clean.
Respect that field. Utaona kile Mungu atakufanyia. Ni ombi langu wale mnapata kitu leo, turn that thing for your own progress in life.
Kamwa ichek kole takyinetab kei nebo lapatanoto bo Kapsabetab Marathon kotakyingei kekanapta ribsetab itonwekab emet koboto kekoch kanetisiet rwoik koistoegei boisietab kerichek chetese kimnatet.
How would we go out there and reach and do community work even as we reach out to people with the word of God? So the race, objective ya kwanza ni evangelism. Ya pili ni talent, support and monetization of talent. kwamba tupate talanta kwa vijana wetu, wapate nafasi ya kukimbia, waonyeshe talanta zao, waweze kupata nini, kupata kitu kutoka talanta.
Yeyote atakayefaulu lazima embrace kitu inaitwa integrity. Yoyote, haijalishi mkimbiaji, haijalishi wewe kiongozi, wewe mchungaji. Hata sisi ambao ni wachungaji, wengi wetu wameanguka, hawajafaulu kwa sababu ya kukosa hiyo kitu, integrity.
We as a department, we are thinking that going forward, we will increase the number of trainings.
Eng komasta nyi komwa CC nebo urerioshek eng serikalitab kaunti nebo Nandi Rose Ang'ira kole testai serikalitab kaunti nebo Nandi ak tetutik cheterter chetakyingei kekanapta urerioshek eng kaunti nebo Nandi.
We have another bus. Apart from the one that is with the Department of Agriculture, now we have one for the sports department. So that mkitaka kwenda nje, munaweka mafuta na kwenda.
Kong'eteke kaunti nebo Nandi, logoiwekab emet yebo Kass, kainenyu ko Nelson Tarubei.
Chitab Kalenjin ko choton ko logoiwekab emet cheimuch kaitun eng ketesiet neichome nebo Kass TV nekasomanun kwane Shadrack Mutai kakimiten ak Naomi Cherotich en oret nebo kabarunet.